Stop me if you've heard this before. Tom Brady on February 1st has retired. He retired exactly 1 year ago today, and now he retires again here February 1st, 2023. An interesting time. It makes sense to me. I think I can understand why he would want to retire. I do think this one is for good. I don't think he's going to come back. Apparently, he reached out to the team at 6 a.m. this morning to let them know that he was going to retire, which is, hey, you're retired. Why are you waking up at 6 a.m.? Still, apparently, he told the coaching staff, he told the team that he wasn't going to go anywhere. Either he was going to stay in Tampa or he was going to retire. And I guess after last season, when he said, "All right, I'm heading out. Thanks for the memories." Which 1 year of playing with Luke Gadecki as a starting guard, and then you're ready to leave town. I guess I kind of get it. But no, the reality is, it's, I can understand why. I guess let's talk about it in several ways. First, we got to just talk about it from the Brady side of things, and then we'll talk about it from the Tampa Bay side of things. He posted a sort of a 1-minute video on his Twitter, so check that out if you want to, about his retirement, and he kind of said he already gave a long-winded speech last year, so he won't do it again this year. But he got emotional in the 1-minute speech a little bit. You could see that it definitely meant something for him to retire. Part of me feels like he did this just so that way Adam Schefter would not be the one who spoiled his retirement. He came back for 1 year just to spite Adam Schefter, which wouldn't be the worst move, I think. But he definitely in this situation, I can see why he did what he decided to do. I can see why he wanted to retire, given the way last season went. And, well, he wasn't bad last year. There's this narrative that came out that, he was a disaster last year. He's the reason the Buccaneers lost, all that stuff. He really wasn't. I mean, he wasn't dominant as he usually is. That's fair to say. He was kind of a mediocre starting quarterback last year, which is just not what can win you a Super Bowl, especially when you have some other issues on your offense. And I think that he maybe realized that, well, he can still play. He still belongs in the NFL. He still is easily a top 32 quarterback in football, and maybe with a better coaching staff, he could be a top 10 quarterback in football. Could he be a top 1 quarterback in football again? Maybe he feels like that's no longer in the cards for him, and you might as well go out now where you don't have a disastrous final season or anything like that, because this was not a disastrous final season. He was fine this year. I'm saying mediocre starting quarterback, probably a little better than that, actually. I think his stats would probably say that he was maybe, the 12th best quarterback, something like that, in football this year. But still, that's not what he's used to doing, and I think that maybe he did say, you know what, he always talked about how he does it for Super Bowls. If he's not winning another Super Bowl, then might as well head out now. There was a lot of talk about, he should have stayed retired, right? That's what everyone said last year. He should have stayed retired. First off, very easy to say that in hindsight, right? Very easy to, after the fact, say he should have stayed retired. We did not know that this is how this season was going to go. The Buccaneers were a trendy Super Bowl pick heading into the season. Both Kyle and I on the podcast picked the Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl. So saying that, saying that is definitely hindsight. But that's also kind of my point about it is, well, sure, in hindsight, he could have gone out being an MVP who nearly led his team back from down 27-3 in a playoff game, or did lead them back. They, still lost the game, but they tied it before losing the game. You could make that argument, but then there always would have been this what if. What if Brady continued to play and he was able to be successful and, they won a Super Bowl the next year? You would be wondering that, especially in a terrible NFC where you'd be wondering, man, I don't know who wins the NFC this year if Tom Brady stays retired. That would have been fascinating. Do the Buccaneers still win it? Do the Panthers win it at 7-10? That's just an interesting thought experiment as well. But you would have thought, man, the 7-10 Panthers won the NFC South last year. If Brady was there, maybe they would have won the Super Bowl. Now you don't have to give that what if, because that Tom Brady, was there, and it didn't go as well as you maybe had hoped for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, I'm planning on using the same thumbnail as long as I can find it that I used last year for this video, which was, this was the most fun I had watching the Tom Brady, watching Buccaneers. The most fun I had was with Tom Brady. That's what I said last year after those 2 seasons, which were such a blast. And even this season, which was a disappointment and was very frustrating at times, that was mostly due to expectations. We had very high expectations expecting a Super Bowl, and not living up to those expectations was the disappointing part. If Brady wasn't here, this season would not have been as fun. There would not have been that. I mean, really, the main thing I think about is that Panthers game, which was just awesome. It was just I was there live. I just realized I saw Tom Brady's last win in person, so I got that going for me. And I can always say I saw his last game before he retired, because last year I went to the Rams game. So, a little bit misleading, but I can say that. But no, that was a very fun game. There were still some awesome moments in this year. The Rams comeback, the Saints comeback was awesome. Even the Cardinals comeback was fun. And then the Panthers comeback was awesome. I mean, half of the wins this season were awesome comebacks at the end. So Brady still showed flashes of his greatness even in his last season. Listen, it's rare that it goes out where you go out on top having a great season and winning a Super Bowl. That could have happened had he retired 2 years ago. But at the same time, who knows? Maybe he would have won another Super Bowl if he kept playing. There's always that what if. It doesn't feel like, I guess there still technically is a what if here, but it doesn't feel as strong. And that's kind of why that's kind of why it makes sense to me that Brady, decided to hang it up at the end of the day. What does this mean for the Buccaneers? They are screwed. This is not going to be a good year for Tampa Bay this following season. They're in cap hell. They have no quarterback. Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask maybe will be the starters. I don't know. As a Tampa Bay fan, I am in favor of blow it up. This is, rebuild starts today. Don't get rid of Mike Evans and don't get rid of Chris Godwin. But, anyone else, do what you got to do. Get draft picks, build for the future, and hopefully, you can get a good draft pick next year to where you can potentially get a good quarterback. Then that's the strategy. Figure out the quarterback position. The exception would be you could go after like a Derek Carr. That's been speculated, but now that Brady's gone, do the Raiders still want to get rid of Derek Carr? That's going to be a question, and there's going to be, you could go after a Jimmy Garoppolo, but again, is that the right strategy? Maybe Jameis Winston returns home. There's been some speculation about that. That would be interesting, as, Winston leaves for 3 years. They have Tom Brady and then go back to Winston. I don't know. There's some interesting things they could do. I've heard Baker Mayfield talked about a lot. That makes some sense to me. Again, kind of as like a guy who is probably going to be a tank commander, but has shown flashes of being good. And again, for the fan service, I'm sure they're going to want someone who can get Mike Evans the ball a lot. So maybe, someone who will throw the ball down the field. Baker Mayfield is definitely that guy. So maybe there's an argument to there. Or, again, go with Kyle Trask, suck for a year, get a good quarterback. That's probably the move. Unless you can get Lamar Jackson, you probably do that. But, again, if there's a big name free agent that comes available, like if Derek Carr gets to pick his own team, I could see him wanting to go to Tampa Bay. There is some weapons there. There is, a defense. The defense was good last year. I think this team still has a chance to make the playoffs next year, given their terrible division, if they decide to go after a solid quarterback. But, tanking would not be the worst strategy either. But yeah, again, for Brady, definitely a lot of fun watching him play for all these years. We're in a post-Brady era now. The league has changed. It is he's gone. Very fascinating stuff, but an exciting new road ahead for everyone involved. But yeah, that's what I think of Brady retiring. Again, I think this one's for good. I don't think he's coming back this time. I think that he's fully retired. But that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.